Internet, and welcome to yet another interview here at PAX East. I am here at the Aftercharge booth, so I'm going to just pitch it over to you, have you introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about the game, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, very good. So I'm Lawrence from Chainsawesome Games. We're here at PAX East showcasing Aftercharge. It's a 3v3 competitive game in which one side is invisible and the other side is invincible.
I mean, that's a pretty good pitch, I gotta say. All right, let's start with how the gameplay works. We know someone is invisible, someone's invincible. How does the actual gameplay happen?
How can that work, right?
Yeah.
So the invisible team, of course, their goal is not to kill the other team. That would be impossible. They're impossible to kill. So their goal is to destroy what we call extractors. Those big glowing tubes of energy you might see in the background there. They have to bash them to pieces. That's how they win. And of course, the other team, well, they have to stop that from happening. They have to find and take down all three robots. That's the basic one you need to know.
Okay. And I gotten a chance to play it. It was actually at PAX last year. It's here again. It's significantly increased in its complexity and as well as the gameplay. Now there are multiple character classes for both sides. So why don't we talk a little bit about those?
Yeah, now the game is still alpha, so there's a lot of content to push, but right now we're closer to launch than last year. So we have 4 different characters on the 2 sides. So 4 different robots, with each of them have one unique ability that can be used strategically. And on the Enforcer side, we have the same thing. We have different characters with different weapons and different abilities. So we can, and going in the game, you can kind of create your team composition. Oh, we have something that's more offensive, something that's more defensive, and so on and so forth. You can play with the strength of each of the characters.
And so I guess let's talk a little bit about release schedule. I know we just said it was in alpha.
Yeah.
So I think we said we do have a time frame for when you're planning to launch and where you're going to launch it on.
All right, so right now we're aiming for launch this summer, and it's looking good. We'll be launching this summer on PC, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch, cross-play between all 3 platforms. Right now we're thinking that our open beta, our beta should be around July, but that's still to be determined.
And I guess any idea on the price point we'll be looking for?
No, not anything set in stone right now. We're looking at options, but right now I think a $20 price point we're looking good. Our game will not be free to play. It's going to be premium, but we feel that's a good price for a premium game.
And we saw, obviously, is there plans for different modes? I know there's a couple different maps, and I mean the gameplay kind of fits one thing, but is there any plans for future, you think, to do different kinds of combat or modes, or just stick to what is in the game currently?
Yeah, right now for launch, we're really aiming to polish and make sure this game mode, this extractor destruction game mode is perfect. Maybe after launch. We're bouncing ideas of other game modes we could do while keeping the 3v3 and the invisible and invincible characters as we have. But we might iterate on that game mode later after launch.
Okay. And I guess this is a question more for me than anything else. Where did this idea come from? Who came up with this idea? How did we take that from just a concept to where it is now?
It's a fun story. Well, the idea came from David, our game designer, who was playing a lot of Evolve at that time. And you see, Evolve is asymmetrical, so you can kind of see where an inspiration came from. And it was actually the time for a game jam that we were having at Quebec City. It's a game jam. It's a yearly game jam of 48 hours to make a game. So we made a prototype in 48 hours, and he actually got a prize out of that event, the second prize of that event. And it was very different. It looked like Night Squad, our previous game. Yes. So it was top down. It was top down in 2D, but we still had these mechanics: invisible versus invisible attackers. So there were not much thought into it because it's a game jam. You have to find an idea and go with it. So we went with it, and people had fun. And then we improved the concept, and we destroyed the whole top-down 2D thing and replaced it with a 3v3 3D FPS.
All right, I think that's pretty much going to do it. So if people want to go and where can they find more information about Chainsawesome and Aftercharge and all that stuff?
Well, we have a website. You can find afterchargegame.com. But we want to focus our community around Discord. We have a Discord channel, discord.gg/aftercharge. This is where all of our community members meet, and this is where you can get to play our alpha playtest that we run once in a while.
And all of that information will be in the links in the description below, so if you want to click any of that, check out more about the game, you definitely can. My last question, so what are the chances of like Night Squad 2 or other expansions for Night Squad? I know this is for Aftercharge, but it's one of my favorite games.
Right now, we have no plans for that immediately. We know people like Night Squad. Once Aftercharge is launched, maybe we'll think about what we can do. Maybe we can add more content, and we'll see. That's all in the air.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't expect to get an answer for that, but I had to ask because...
We need to focus on that thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right, thank you very much, and well, have fun at PAX, guys. I'll see you for the next interview.